I was driving home late one stormy night, the rain lashing against my car like an angry chorus of drums. Visibility was poor, and the relentless downpour seemed to merge the road with the dark void that surrounded it. The highway felt eerily deserted, with no other car in sight. I was already on edge when I noticed a faint, flickering light in the distance. As I got closer, I saw a figure standing by the roadside, soaked to the bone, her thumb extended in desperate hope for a lift. I hesitated for a moment, my heart pounding in my chest. Picking up hitchhikers was never something I did, especially not on a desolate highway in the middle of a stormy night. But there was something about her that tugged at my conscience, a feeling I couldn't shake off. Against my better judgment, I slowed down and rolled down my window. "Need a ride?" I shouted over the roar of the rain and wind. The woman's face was obscured by shadows, but I could make out her trembling form as she moved closer to the car. Her voice was soft and weak, almost haunting. "Thank you. I've been waiting for so long. Please, could you take me to the next town?" Against my instincts, I unlocked the doors, and she climbed into the back seat. The moment she entered the car, a chill ran down my spine, but I tried to ignore it, attributing it to the cold, damp weather. I couldn't help but notice that she was strangely pale, and her clothes seemed ancient, as if from another time. Her eyes, when they briefly met mine in the rearview mirror, were dark and empty, sending shivers down my spine. As I resumed driving, an uncomfortable silence filled the car. The only sounds were the relentless rain and the occasional distant rumble of thunder. I tried to strike up a conversation, but the woman remained unresponsive, lost in her own thoughts, or perhaps in something else entirely. A few minutes passed, and unease settled in my stomach like a heavy stone. My gaze darted between the road ahead and the rearview mirror, where the woman sat, still and silent. It felt like we were the only two beings in existence, lost in an endless void. I decided to break the silence again, this time to ask about her name. "By the way, I'm Sarah. What's your name?" I asked, trying to maintain a friendly tone despite my growing discomfort. Her reply sent shivers down my spine. "They used to call me Mary." "Used to? Why not anymore?" I inquired, trying to understand her cryptic response. "Because they're gone now," she whispered, and I felt my grip on the steering wheel tighten. "But sometimes they come back." I glanced at her reflection in the mirror, and my heart nearly stopped. Her face seemed different, distorted, with a haunting smile that sent a chill up my spine. I couldn't help but wonder who they were and what she meant by them coming back. With every passing mile, my unease grew. I became acutely aware of the darkness outside, as if it were encroaching upon the car, threatening to swallow us whole. I thought about turning back, about dropping her off at the side of the road and leaving this unsettling encounter behind. But something held me back. Maybe pity, maybe morbid curiosity. As we approached a deserted stretch of the highway, the woman spoke again, her voice barely audible above the rain. "Stop here. This is where I must leave." I pulled over, my heart pounding in my chest. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. Before she exited the car, she turned to me, her eyes void of any emotion. "Thank you for the ride, Sarah," she said, her words resonating with an unsettling finality. I watched her disappear into the darkness, and as she did, the rain suddenly stopped, leaving an eerie silence in its wake. Confused and anxious, I quickly drove away from that forsaken spot, eager to put the encounter behind me. But as I continued driving, I couldn't help but feel a growing sense of dread, as if the darkness from that lonely highway had latched onto my soul. The road ahead seemed to stretch on infinitely, and I couldn't escape the feeling that I was being watched, that someone, or something, was following me. Just when I thought I was free from the encounter, I saw her again, standing on the side of the road, miles away from where I had dropped her off. Her figure emerged from the shadows, her pale face illuminated by the dim glow of the streetlights. I gasped in horror and pressed down on the gas pedal, desperate to escape this nightmare. But no matter how fast I drove, she was always there, following, watching, haunting. I didn't know what she was, or what she wanted, but I knew that I had made a grave mistake picking her up. The road seemed to twist and turn in impossible ways. leading me deeper into an otherworldly maze. Time lost all meaning, and I felt like I was trapped in an eternal nightmare. I couldn't escape her gaze, her eerie smile forever etched in my mind. I don't know how long I drove or how far I went, but eventually, the rain started again, washing away the darkness that had surrounded me. And just like that, she was gone, leaving me trembling and alone on a desolate highway. To this day, I can't forget that night. The night I encountered Mary, the woman on the highway. I don't know if she was a ghost, a demon, or something else entirely. But one thing I'm certain of, the lonely highway is a place best left undisturbed, for who knows what lurks in the darkness, waiting to hitch a ride with unsuspecting souls like me.